Welcome to this week's Think Tank Tuesday. Welcome, everybody. And the title of this think tank is really simple. Let me get to it really quick. And it's how to get customers without increasing your ad budget. So that's the magical point. So, Kurt, can we get that on the bottom of the screen? I want everybody to see that and make sure that they know exactly what we're talking about today. So on the screen, it's going to appear magically, because Kurt's at the controls now, of what we're talking about today. And we're going to wait for Kurt to do that, just to put the pressure on him a little bit. All right. So, and I think this is critically important. I mean, what I'm really going to talk about is I'm going to talk about the path of a shopper, but I'm going to take it a step farther too, because what I want to talk about is having a strategy. So last week I talked about change, and I talked about how it's very difficult to have change, that it's a scary opportunity to change, but it's something you have to do. So here's a question. 5 years ago, what was your advertising like? What were you doing to advertise? Has your advertising changed from 5 years ago? Are you doing the same things that you did 5 years ago? And I want you to comment. Where you're watching right now, I want you to comment below the video and tell me, no, my advertising is completely different. I mean, because that's what I'm looking for, is for you to say something like that. That, you know, that your advertising is completely different. And I don't agree. And I want to stop right here. Kurt, can we get that on the screen? I want the title bar on the screen, because I think it's critically important that everybody understands where I'm going, because I've had this discussion several times in the last month, and it's important that you really kind of understand where I'm going with this. So 3 years ago, what was your advertising like? Last year, what was your advertising like? And I'm bringing it up here, talking about path of the shopper. And I'll tell you what. Can we get it on the screen? No, it's not. I want to get the thing that Joe put something together, and I think it's really important that everybody signs up for this webinar, because this will help business owners drastically. That's what I wanted. Thank you, Kurt. Awesome. He's got so many switches back there. I don't know how he keeps up with all of them, to be honest. So if we talk about this, and I'm kind of gathering my thoughts, because it's really kind of a hard process to think about. But your advertising strategies, have they really changed? Again, I want you to comment and tell me, has your advertising strategy really, truly changed? And the answer is no, it hasn't. The tools that we use has changed. In other words, we're doing, search advertising, we're doing display advertising, we're doing Facebook advertising. We're running all of these different types of ad strategies, but we have not changed the way we advertise. We changed the platforms that we're on, but we haven't changed the messaging. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, are we, with our advertising, when we're doing our digital advertising, is we're trying to do it the same way we did it a year ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and even 30 years ago. In other words, so many times as a marketer or a business owner, what we're trying to do is, or not we, but what happens, the mistakes that are being made, is that we're trying to hit that customer right between the eyes, telling them to buy this product, buy this. And that's what we're doing, is we're trying to sell them a product. But they already know they want the product. I mean, this is salesmanship 101. If somebody comes to you and they're interested in buying the product, you don't continue to try to sell them. You ask the questions, and that's what needs to happen online. And I'm going to show you some examples, but on the bottom of the screen, I'm saying sign up for the 3-part mini course, because I'm going to personally take you through a 3-part mini course, and I'm going to show you how to change your advertising strategy without increasing your ad budget. And I mean, this is not some crazy sales pitch. I think it's just critically important that we change the way we do our advertising. And I kind of made some notes here, and I want to talk about that a little bit. How about I just show you? I think that'd be the best way. And then I'm going to come back to this. undoing that. Dan might have to take me to that, but I'm going to go. I want to go here. Let me find this on the screen. And we're trying this completely in a different way. So I've got to find my browser. You'd think I would know where my browser was at here. Thanks, Dan. I put it where I could get to it really easy. So let's go here, and let's just do a Google search. So what I'm going to search for, to give you an example, is I'm going to type in, I'm just going to do something easy. Toyota RAV4. And then where I'm typing in Toyota RAV4, and I probably want to zoom in on this a little bit if I can. I can't. So right here on the screen, what it shows is what people have searched for. So we've got Toyota RAV4 2017, Toyota RAV4 Lease, Toyota RAV4 Hybrid. But I want to take it a step farther. I want to show you, and hopefully this will start to make sense to you. So I'm going to go back. I made a mistake there. So Toyota RAV4 versus. So I typed in versus, and now you can see that people are doing this. People are doing searches like this. Toyota RAV4 versus Honda CR-V versus Ford Escape. So a lot of times in the automotive industry, people are talking about, oh, we need to be doing conquest. We need to be doing conquest advertising. But where is the person in the funnel right now if they're doing this search? They're very low down in the funnel. So if we're trying to create ad strategies, is that the best use of our time to talk to the person? Because you have to sell them twice. First off, if you're a Toyota dealer and you're trying to sell them a Toyota RAV4, when they're searching for Honda CR-V or Ford Escape, first you have to sell them on the RAV4, then you have to sell them on buying it from you. But think about your own habit. Think about what happens when you're searching. If you did a search for this, let's say it's a golf driver that you're looking for, Ping whatever versus Big Bertha, I don't know. And you're doing that search. The guys laughed about Big Bertha, but you're doing that search. Where are you? You're just looking for justification. You're not looking to change the process. So I hope that makes sense. So let me just go back a little bit and let me just do go for the Toyota RAV4 and show you what happens here. So coming up, for example, I searched for Toyota RAV4, and we've got the first dealer, Glens Falls Toyota. They don't say anything about RAV4. Marketing mistake on their part, because I'm not going to click it because you're not answering what I'm looking for. But then I'm going to go on down to where Toyota has theirs, and it says compare models, prices, and miles per gallon. So we're getting somewhere. Hopefully you're going to start seeing what I'm talking about, okay? And then I'm going to move on down farther. And let's say, for example, let's go down. I'm trying to find a good example. Maybe this one right here. Toyota RAV4 features. Do you see that right there, guys? So features, that could get me a little more interested. And if I go on down a little farther, and 2017 RAV4 exterior specs and options. Now we're getting somewhere. Toyota RAV4 reviews, price, photos, and specs. So my point is, what we're trying to do, what's happening in an industry, meaning business owners and advertisers, is we're trying to sell people. We're trying to hit them right between the eyes and say, buy something, buy this. And that's not the ideal strategy. And why is that not the ideal strategy? I want you to just think for a moment of your own shopping behavior. So while your advertising has changed, in other words, the tools that you're using, the mediums that you're advertising on has changed, your messaging has not. And that seems like just a tremendous amount of work. And I mean, and if you followed me for longer than, let's say, 72 hours, you know I'm a big believer in saying, you've got to start generating video content. You've got to have a blog site or a video blog site, whatever fits you. You have to start generating that content to engage in individuals where they're at. If you're just trying to sell something to them, there's no difference between you and every other business out there that you're competing with. That's what everybody's trying to do. And I'm saying, let me just kind of show you what I mean, because this is really important. Dan, how do I get back to that funnel? Is it in the books? All right, there it is. All right, guys. So I want to explain what's going on. This is a funnel that this is our own variation of a funnel, a sales funnel. Path of the shopper is what it is. And when I say sales funnel, it's really a research funnel. So I want you to just think about, as I go through and explain this funnel, tell me is this what you do? So, for example, awareness. Awareness can happen a lot of different ways. You are watching a movie, you see whatever it is. You see a watch, you see a car, you see a suit, you see whatever it is, and a pair of sunglasses, and then you start to search for that. In other words, you're wide open. It's awareness. Now you're aware that that product's out there, and you're saying, you know what? I might like that. So you automatically just move right into the interest mode. So we go from awareness to interest. So now I'm in the interest mode that I'm doing the search. I'm taking in all of this knowledge. I'm wide open. I'm like a brand new baby that I'm taking in all the sights and the sounds and, watching videos. I'm doing whatever it is to gather information because I'm trying to decide. Well, really, what I'm trying to do is consider. So I'm into the consideration mode. Is this right for me? Is it something that's going to help me look sexier? Is it something that's going to help me save time? So consideration mode, I'm considering. So what I'm really saying is I'm considering. So I'm aware of this product now, but while I was doing the search, I was trying to make sure that it was right. Now I'm considering this product. So I might be considering 2 products, 3 products, 4 products, 5 products, whatever it might be. And it's not just products. It could be services. And this works regardless if you're selling products or you're selling services. So now what I do is I've kind of narrowed the decision down to 2 or 3, and I'm in the research mode. I'm trying to decide. I'm not trying to decide who to buy it from. I'm trying to decide what will this product do for me? Does it break? Does it have a good resale value, if that makes sense? So I'm doing the research is what happens. And then I go right into the validation mode. And this is the tricky one, but I'll explain what's going to happen here in a minute. So now I'm into the validation mode. So I'm validating it. I'm validating saying, do I deserve it? Do I really deserve it? Should I get this? Should I spend the money right now? And I don't care if you're in the grocery store and you're buying an air freshener that's $3.79. You will go through this funnel. Granted, you might go through this funnel in a matter of, let's say, 10 seconds, but you will go through this funnel. And everybody's funnel is a different length. And it's based on the purchase, how much it's going to cost, income, a number of factors. But the validation, if you notice right here on the validation, where maybe you can see that, where it swoops all the way down into this section here. And the reason that I put the swoop into it is because that's where we start to ask our friends, our family, whether it might be on social media or whether it might just be face to face, that we're asking people their input. We're looking for our friends to say, oh, you know what? You'd look so good in that. You need to buy that. Or so we're looking for that validation. But then something takes over and it's called guilt. And that's our cooling off mode. So that's where we go, I don't know. I don't know if I should buy this. I don't know if I should spend the money right now. Whatever it might be, we're in the cooling off mode. And then all of a sudden, something magical happens. Well, we start consuming more data. We start going to YouTube. We're watching videos. We're looking at on Instagram. We're looking at pictures. We're seeing friends that have it. And they're like, well, if they have it, I should have it too. I deserve it. So think about that. So now they go into that justification mode. So now they've said, all right, I'm going to do it. It's not that much more. I can afford it. And then that's where they go into the intent, evaluation, and conversion. And that's where your advertising strategy today starts to come into play. All of this, your advertising has not even come into play because price has not been the major consideration yet. It hasn't been price, but all of your advertising is focused on price. So now where it comes into intent, evaluation, conversion, so now they're comparing, here's the different companies that I'm considering based on maybe how close they are to my work or how close they are to my home. Then they submit a lead. Now everybody is fighting to get that sale. And really the only way you can separate yourself at this stage is to have a lower price, is one way. Another way is to have a really good follow-up process because, let's be honest, most businesses do not have a really good follow-up process. Think about the last time you submitted a lead. But here's a problem. When was the last time you submitted a lead? All right. So just kind of thinking about that. So my point is the path of the shopper has changed. We being the shopper, you, me, we're all the shopper. So think about your own behavior, your own habits. What do you do when you're shopping? Now think about your advertising. And how does your advertising answer all of those elements? Because your advertising is pretty much back to like where I showed you the Toyota RAV4. It was Toyota RAV4 lease price. Lease versus buy. Maybe you're doing that, maybe you're not. Most are not. But you have a lease price, you have a buy price, you have a payment, and you're focusing on rebates, you're focusing on 0% for 72 months, you're focusing on, low interest rates. That's your focus. But again, when that's your focus, you're here at the very bottom. So when you start to develop content higher up the funnel, and there's tricks, there's tools, and I don't mean tricks in a negative sense, but there's ways to get that content out there so individuals engage with it and you get the conversation early. So I want you to look in the description. I want you to sign up for the webinar because I'm personally going to do a 3-part mini course. But I'm going to limit it. We're using a webinar tool that allows us to have a one-on-one interaction. In other words, it's not really it's not a go-to meeting or a WebEx or anything like that. It's a tool that will allow us to go on and talk and have a conversation. So it won't be me talking at you. It will be me discussing it with you. In other words, this is the type of content. This is what you need to say in your content. This is how you develop your content. You don't need to go and hire a bunch of individuals to do your content and all that. I'm going to show you the things that it's absolutely necessary that you do if you want to be competitive this year, next year, and the following year, because the amount of leads that you're going to receive down here is only going to decrease. I mean, and I'm not telling you something you don't know. You already know that. When's the last time you filled in a lead form? But if you start to develop a marketing strategy that answers every stage of this funnel, you're going to end up getting more people to your website. You're going to get more people to your Facebook page, more people to your Instagram. You're going to get an increased number of audience because you're developing content that people find of value. And I know it's very difficult because so many times when I talk to clients or prospective clients, they want to go right to that sales mindset and they want to try to sell. And it's not time to sell. It's time to give the information, provide the information. And I'm going to show you in this 3-part mini course the type of searches that individuals are doing. And you're going to be absolutely amazed the type of searches that people are doing, and your competitors are not even aware of what's going on. I mean, you just have to think about it yourself. I mean, what was the last thing that you started researching because you wanted to purchase it? What were the type of searches you were doing? And were you able to find content online? And were you able to find content online that a business, a company had put out there that helped you that led you down the path to them? Or were you just finding content that it was just some guy or some girl that was developing that content because they wanted millions of YouTube views or millions of likes on their Instagram page so they could make money, but they were not able to sell you that product or sell you that service. They were just doing it to be informative, to be a resource. I hope I'm making sense. I know for some of you I'm making sense, and others of you, you're probably going, I don't really understand what Paul's saying here. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, then that's all the more reason you need to sign up for this mini course, because once you really start to understand it, you're going to go, oh, this makes complete sense. I do this every time I shop. But my advertising strategy does not mimic this. My advertising strategy is not following this process. So what you end up doing is you end up spending tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to get more customers. And the thing you always go to is like, oh, let's have a sales event. I'm not saying sales events are bad, but if you've built your entire business on a sales event, then that's bad. We're in an information society now. I mean, and we have so much information at our fingertips that be that person, be that company, be that marketer to provide this content and allow the person to engage you versus the competition. I mean, it's so simple. And I know this wasn't as polished as I would have hoped, but it's kind of a completely different direction. What I'm saying, as I've changed the direction a little bit. Normally I come on, I do my Think Tank Tuesday, I give you a tip and I'm gone and I'm out. But you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. That's my point. And I'm willing to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And hopefully you are too. So if you want to evolve your business, you want to grow your business, whether it's service or whether it's products, it doesn't make a difference. This strategy will work for you. So sign up for the webinar. The link is in the description. So just go find it. It's a Google shortened link. Go click it. Sign up for the webinar. And if you have a friend that thinks the same way, in other words, if you have a friend or a partner or whatever it might be that thinks the same way, that they're like, yeah, I want to get more customers without increasing my budget, then share this video with them. I hope that was of help. And I will see you really soon on this webinar. Share this video and have a great week.